So last night I was working on a couple things, just some general housekeeping items with the bike, just kind of in preparation for starting to put it together, especially now that I have a lot of parts that are here. I'm going to be able to get most of the drivetrain in. I've got a fork that I'm going to test out. I don't know if I'm going to use it or not yet. I've got that I can put together. I've got the handlebars, headset, stem, all that stuff. Still got to get a saddle. Still got to get a chain. I got to get some through axles for the wheels, which that won't be too hard to do. There are a couple of just miscellaneous items that I need to get. But last night I did some general housekeeping items. One of them was put this little sheet together, kind of in conjunction with my parts list, where I've kind of got what I'm looking for a part, and taking that and then purchasing it and basically documenting it. So I kind of know what my overall cost is for this bike project. Well, the next thing I wanted to do is, because on July 10th I'll be flying up to Canada, bring a bike box with me with the frame, everything, kind of the bike stripped down to a certain degree, and have it packed up. Well, my weight limit is going to be 50 pounds. So I want to make sure that I have that spec'd out, the box, with whatever goes in it properly. So I've basically just started looking at all my components, everything that's going on the bike, having an idea of what they weigh. And it's also going to come in useful because I want to try to keep my weight load as minimal as I can, while at the same time still having the parts and necessary items on the bike. So I just spent some time last night kind of going through, weighing all the components, pedals, crank arms, bottom brackets, the frame, everything, just everything down to a T. So there's that I did. One of the other things that I did kind of in preparation, just starting to get stuff kind of put together, is I took that Shimano M771 Diora XT cassette and just mounted it on the wheel, the rear rim. So got that on there. It looks really nice. Of course, when I get the bike on, all the components and stuff on the bike, I think those rims are going to look really good with it. So that was kind of the housekeeping measures that I did last night. As far as today is concerned, I wanted to do a little bit of video as I go and start actually kind of putting parts of the bike together. So for today, my plan is to take the bottom bracket, get the bottom bracket installed through here. I've got the Loctite and everything for that. Once we get the bottom bracket installed, and I'm probably going to have some help with my dad. My dad wants to help with that, so probably get some help there. After that, get the crank arms installed, both sides, and then get the pedals on. So just kind of a introductory, get the drivetrain going, get some parts on this bike so it starts to seem like a bike. So that's the plan for today. As usual, if you guys got any questions, comments, whatever, feel free to post those comments with this video. General disclaimer, as I've said from the beginning, I'm not a bike expert. I don't claim to be a bike expert. I don't necessarily want to be a bike expert, but I just kind of want to share every bit of this journey with all of you guys, down to building the bike. So you can kind of look back at my original video and say, hey, he started off with a rock, and eventually he's riding here in the Rockies on this bike that we get to watch him build and kind of put together and spec out parts and all that stuff. So that's the plan for today. Coming up in the future, we'll get some of the other parts and components kind of put together. I'm also, in the meantime, working on getting my website back up and running. I'm planning to do kind of a blog in conjunction with this video logs. So just giving as much information and exposure into this process and my thought process, what's going on in my head, just kind of everything. So that's the plan for today. There's a lot of things coming up that I'm trying to work on to get those rolling and working. So that's what we're going to do today. So over
do is we'll run this through there.
Yep.
Run that through the other side. So the first thing you have to do is you have to get your Loctite.
Alright, Loctite here.
I don't think these are really one side or the other. So I'd say. Tip.
Do it.
Alright, cut the tip.
For that.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to get some Loctite in there, all around the surface. We'll have to take and clean off a lot of that when we get it out. The other side. And this stuff cures up when it gets anaerobic. And this is Loctite 243, which is what they specified. Is that what they said on the forums, or what FSA said?
FSA actually recommends that. They in their documentation, they actually recommend that.
And what this does is it keeps things from creaking. Once we get it in, then we'll have to make sure that we wipe it all off all exposed surfaces. Unless you want to use blue as part of your bike theme. Now my road, a lot of the road bikes use these press fit bottom bearings. I call them bottom bearings, even though the industry calls them bottom brackets, which I find to be a really stupid thing, because they're not a bracket, they're a bearing. Put that in place there. It's a little bit long of a rod, but it'll work. If we owned a bike shop, we'd be using the bike shop tool, but we don't have the bike shop tool, so we have to use what we use. This originally were put the transom back together on my boat. That's why they're so long. Do you have a 3/4 inch wrench? I need a little bit of. So now, as we just taken, this gives us a nice straight closure into there, and you can see both sides are seating in nicely. And we snug it up and we're done. Now, if this was a lot shorter,
Can't you just take the set off?
huh?
Can't you just take the set off
Yeah, that side's kind of,
and go that way?
well, it's got gunk on it, I think. Well, I'll do it this way. Just I want to get this spun off. Watch your camera now. I got to like this. we take and we wipe off all of the excess. Now that'll set up here fairly quickly, and it'll keep it sealed and it'll keep it from creaking ever. This is medium, so it's not real hard to get out. How's that side look? And so that's done with that portion. And this here's some of the lubricant that was supplied. Is that a full speed ahead?
Yeah, it's FSA.
This just seals and lubricates. Actually, just lubricates, I think. So the seal's in place. We already have one fitting on the
Crank.
one side of the crank.
Yep.
Now the other crank is going to fit in the seal and spring. So we put in the 30 millimeter.
The 24 millimeter reducer.
We have 30 and 24. Okay, we can put the crank set in place. You have a screw that have a piece that goes into here.
Yes.
We'll need the Allen wrenches that fit it.
Yep. It's going to be, I believe, this one. It's either the
about
5 or the
There'll be a 4 or 5 in there.
It's one of those two. Let's see.
You go ahead and just
Yep.
pull that off the end there. And we'll just use this to seat everybody back into place.
I'm getting tight.
Well, and that should be fine. Let go, pull it on out. And there's a little bit of slight springiness to it.
Springiness this way.
Right. Now we'll have to torque these down 10 to 14 Newton meters. I don't have my torque wrench with me right now, but it's down at the house.
That's something we can do later.
Right. So that's pretty much it.
Next, let's put the pedals on.
I'm going to back this off just a hair. And the Wellgo MG5s. We can.
I got things for that. Right here.
Let go. This one goes in back, opposite. We should be putting some, what we'll do is we'll end up, take these back out and we'll put some copper lock NACs on them. The reason we use copper is it's a different metal than the steel and the aluminum of the cranks.
So, okay, there you have it. As you saw, we took the BB30 bottom bracket by FSA, and we put Loctite on it, put some grease between the spacers. We got that all kind of put together. We got our cranks sealed in, got them tightened down on the opposite side. We put some, we went back after the fact and we put some copper sealant stuff on the Wellgo MG5s to help with the threading. We wiped everything down, and it looks good. It's functional. I like the color scheme that I'm going with so far. It pops. Probably next we will start doing the rest of the drivetrain. Get our disc brakes on, both the front and back. Get our fork and everything. That's kind of the plan for going forward. But I wanted to get at least a little bit of progress done today on getting the bike put together. As I said earlier in the video, if there are any questions or comments, please feel free to drop a comment here in this video. Be sure to respond to it, and we'll see what happens here in the next few days.